Good day everyone, I am Teningban and my registration number is 19BCE1817. This is my video submission for the digital assignment 3 from the course Blockchain Technologies and Cryptocurrency. I am going to explain about the peer-to-peer network, its features and its use and role in blockchain. So before we jump into peer-to-peer network, let us learn about what is a network. As many of you all could already know that a network is made up of two or more computers that are linked together to share resources such as printers, CDs, video files, audio files, etc. A network's computers can be connected by cables, phone lines, radio waves, satellites, or infrared laser beams. Most of the networks today, which have more than thousands of computers connected to each other through the internet, usually use client-server networks. What is a client-server network? A central computer which acts as a server in these networks distributes resources to other network participants. Like this server controls all these files, these printers and CDs and the privileges to use them and allows the clients or the participants to use it if they are valid to use it. So let us see what this traditional client-server network is capable of. A computer network in which numerous less powerful personal computers or workstations called clients are connected to a single centralized powerful computer named the server. We should note the point centralized because all the privilege, all the admin power is based on this server. Clients execute programs and gain access to data stored on the server only if the server allows it. So using this system, this network, we can create a hierarchy. Like for example, you have a main server and from that server, 4 other servers are split and those 4 servers manage the admin privileges and other access privileges to small clients in an organization. So like this, a hierarchy can be created and it is useful to keep it organized, everything in a company or a business place. The client server interactions use a request response messaging pattern. So when a client raises a request, the server goes through it and then it responds back with whatever the client requested for. So it should follow a particular protocol. Mostly it follows TCP or IP protocols. So now let us look at what is a decentralized network. So peer-to-peer network is a decentralized platform. Is a decentralized network. Unlike the client-server network, which is a centralized network. So a peer-to-peer network is a method of connecting 2 or more computers or more than 10, 20 computers to a single system by directly connecting the computers to each other without any intermediate devices or users or servers. Mainly a powerful computer which take the privileges from all these small computers. We don't have that in a decentralized network because everybody can communicate with each other. So peer-to-peer network came into existence in the late 1970s. So before peer-to-peer network, there was Usenet, Napster. They were the starting stage of the peer-to-peer network. So within the created peer-to-peer network, each computer serves as a node for file sharing. So each nodes are called as peers. So there is no central server in this network because each node acts as a server and at the same time they also act as a client. So this server action permits massive amounts of data to be shared among each other. So the tasks are distributed evenly among the nodes. So whenever there's a service to be provided, all these nodes can work on this particular service and they can efficiently bring a solution to this particular service. So this is a peer-to-peer network model. So we can compare this peer-to-peer network model to the client-server network model. So as you can see, there is no main server in this model. All the small clients are connected to each other, and all these clients or these devices acts as a node, as a peer. So if, for example, this computer wants a resource that this computer owns. So what it does is it requests this computer directly to, it asks maybe, may I use your resource for some time, your printer or your audio files or something like that. So this particular PC then validates or verify this node or this peer, and if it finds it okay, it allows this PC to use its resources. So this is the P2P network model's features. So the history of P2P networks, like I already said, Usenet was established in 1979 before the creation of P2P. Here there was no centralized server, so whenever you send a message in the forums, it is sent to all the nodes present in the network. So when you send, it was like a big chat room. You can send message and everybody can see the message, and everybody can validate and verify the message. So like this, there comes something called a Snapster, a peer-to-peer file sharing program that was created after this Usenet was established. So using this Snapster, you can easily share any files that you have with other users in this program. So it was mainly used to share audio files during the time, but since it was considered as piracy, it was shut down. But the concept of network sharing, the P2P network sharing, grew in popularity. So because of this, the peer-to-peer networks that we see today were created. So this is what the Usenet and Napster looked like. As you can see, the Napster looks closely to what torrent files that we use today looks like. So the torrent that we use today to download stuff from online is also something that uses the peer-to-peer network. So whenever someone already using the torrent has downloaded something and they're seeding the downloaded files, the seeded files can be used by us to download that particular file from their device. So this is how a P2P started. So how does a P2P works? So like I said, each end computer connected to a P2P network is designated as a peer. That's why we call it as a peer-to-peer network, allowing it to receive and send files to other computers in the network. So this allows you to collaborate on particular tasks that require group attention, as well as offer services towards another peer. For example, if user A's PC is connected to a printer, like I said in that example, the user B wants to access that printer. So user A must set this machine to allow access to the printer. So similarly, if user B wants to have access to a folder or file in user A's PC, the user A must enable the file sharing on his PC so that user B can use those files. So this is how a P2P environment is working. So as you can see here, all the requests, like in the client server, there is a request and response to each task, but it is different from the client server network, because here there is not a main particular centralized server that is answering to all the requests. Here, if you have a request to a particular PC or a device or a user, that particular user gets the request directly. So the server does not maintain all those requests and all those access privileges. So like you see, the centralized system have an organization in the middle that controls all these users, but whereas the decentralized system is like talking to your friend and getting something from them. So this is why P2P is more popular nowadays and is more sought out to use in big programs that is coming out today, like blockchain. So what are the types of P2P networks that are there? There are three types: unstructured P2P networks, structured peer-to-peer networks, hybrid peer-to-peer networks. So in these three networks, unstructured peer-to-peer network is what the old peer-to-peer networks was. Like any device can contribute equally. This network is simple to set up, and because it is unstructured, it is difficult to locate the content. So this was the problem. It is difficult to locate the content. But when the structured peer-to-peer networks came, what happened was, it was not simple to set up, but it provided easy access to content. That's why nowadays we use structured peer-to-peer networks. So hybrid peer-to-peer networks is a combination of all these structured and unstructured what is good and what is bad, and we leave out the bad and we take the good from structured and unstructured, and we make the hybrid peer-to-peer networks. So we use peer-to-peer networks in blockchains. So peer-to-peer network is a technology that is built on the concept of decentralization, like we talked earlier. So since it is a simple concept, blockchain uses this peer-to-peer network to carry out the verification and validation of the block in blockchain. So whenever a new block comes, like a collection of transactions and a new block comes into the system, every peer in the system will verify and validate the block. And once every peer give a green light to that particular block, the block get added to the blockchain. So once the block get added to the main blockchain, then that particular blockchain always stays in the system, blockchain, and it is always validated. So we know that it is a valid transaction. Whatever transaction is in the block, it is a valid transaction, and it is already verified by many peers. So this is how blockchain uses peer-to-peer networks to carry out different transactions, especially Bitcoin. All these cryptocurrency uses this particular blockchain peer-to-peer network to carry out their transactions. So why blockchain? Why not use something like the bank or like private exchanges and intermediate middlemen and things like that? Because blockchain uses a decentralized ledger that tracks one or more digital assets. Like it keeps track of every transaction that has happened, but it can be accessed and verified by everyone in the system. So whereas in a bank, the bank keeps the ledger. It is not transparent to everybody in the system, and it secretly maintains and controls the whole transaction and everything that is going on in this economy. Let's keep it like that. So whereas in blockchain, everybody can access, a particular you can take a particular transaction and verify whether it is like right or wrong, whether the transaction that happened actually happened or not, whether it is valid or not. And once you validate it, once many nodes or peers validate it, that particular transaction get added to the block, and that block get validated and get added to the blockchain. So this way we can be assured that a particular transaction is valid. So what are the advantages of peer-to-peer network? Due to the fact that blockchain is a decentralized peer-to-peer network, it is highly available to use. It's like anybody can join the blockchain. Anybody can join a peer-to-peer network. Like if you have a device, you can create a mining or your Bitcoin mining algorithm. You can use the mining algorithm to get into the scene, and you can work on a transaction, validate a block, and you can be a node in that mining scene. So if one peer goes down in a peer-to-peer network, the other peers are still present. So the system won't go down just because one particular peer went down. So but in a client server architecture, if the server goes down, everything is gone. The server goes down, everything, in the sense like the system goes offline. You cannot work. Other clients cannot work during the meantime. Until the server comes up, the clients cannot work. But in the peer-to-peer network, if one peer goes down, all the other peers can still work, goes on working. And the peer that went down can again come online and join the peer-to-peer network again. So that is something that is advantages in peer-to-peer network. When compared to standard client server systems, like I said, peer-to-peer network provides more security. And when you talk about security, you don't, like when you use cloud computing to store your data, you have to trust AWS and Google Drives. But with blockchain, you don't have to trust any third parties, who could alter your data, who can, do something to your sensitive data. But in a peer-to-peer network, everything is secure. So nobody can access your files without you giving, privilege of access to them. So denial of service, DOS attacks are virtually unaffected by these networks. So these networks cannot be attacked using the DOS attacks. So what are the disadvantages in peer-to-peer network? In blockchain, in peer-to-peer networks, distributed ledgers must be updated on every single node. So whenever there is a change in the peer-to-peer network, every node should know about the change. Whereas in client-server architecture, only the server should know the major updates. and if the client comes with some old unupdated version of something, the server can say like it got updated, you have to change. But in peer-to-peer network, everyone should be notified at that moment that this is getting changed, so they should be updated like at the same time. So that is really difficult to do. Although this gives a higher level of security, like I said in the advantage part, it is also affect the efficiency of the network, because everything has to be updated, everything has to have the computational power to validate the block, everyone has to validate the block, the time it takes to compute these blocks can take longer than anything. So the efficiency of the network get affected because in this particular network, because there is no central server, the data can be lost. So when there is in client server architecture, the server has a backup, but in peer-to-peer network there is no backup. Who can act as a backup? What if all peer goes down? We don't know where the backup is. But in a client server, we have the server which has a backup. So even if the server goes down or the client goes down, we have the backup to access from. So that is one of the disadvantages in peer-to-peer network. It is difficult to secure the complete network because each node is independent. So like even the peer-to-peer network is secure on your side, to secure the whole network, it is nearly impossible. It is really difficult to secure the whole network. You can independently secure yourself easily, but to secure the whole network, you need some difficult task. It is a very difficult task. So that's all about peer-to-peer networks. Thank you so much for listening to this presentation. Thank you.